Alright guys, welcome to another video from JDM Tech. It's a nice sunny day today here in Southern California. We're working with the garage open. Trying to save some money on air conditioning. Yes, we put air conditioning in the garage. Check it out, mini split system, pretty cool. Anyway, excuse all the junk right now. We just got a lot going on and we got to clean up a bit. But anyway, no stupid intro music, no BS. Let's get right to it. A lot of people have trouble with these things on startup from dragging and wanting to pull away on the torque converter setups. So that's this right here. I will tell you that if you install your belt wrong, so it says this side to engine. Some of these belts are asymmetrical, which means they're not symmetrical. Right? It means they only go on one way. See, there's a flat side and a bevel side. See in here, there's a flat side and a bevel side. So if you put it in wrong, obviously it's gonna drag, right? As it is, they produce a little bit of drag. So we got a whole bunch of little stuff here we're putting together. Gonna put these two carts together for the customer. And he asked if we could do a custom setup for an Ebrake because his kids ride with him. So it'd just be easier if he could pull up the Ebrake and stop his cart, or start their cart and then start his cart and jump on. So anyhow, here's how we did it. This Ebrake handle is from a 1995 Honda Civic. Real simple Ebrake, real easy to get. And I was looking at doing it with a cable setup. I was looking at putting it over here on this side, which is like the passenger area, and then running the cable sort of like an S, and then coming in right here and connecting up to this. All right, which would be pretty simple. I mean, you could just extend a little bracket off here, but then you're pulling from too far to the side. So I feel like this would just kind of flex over and bind more than pull the cable, which puts the band on, right? So what I decided to do was just a purely mechanical setup. So yeah, we welded some little angle iron pieces onto the frame. We just sprayed it black for now, just so it doesn't rust. We're gonna get to doing paint on these bad boys a little bit later on. But all it does is when you pull the Ebrake handle, you see that little gap right in there. That little gap will disappear, and it pulls against those shaft collars, and it applies the band. See that? And then when you let it down, it comes off. And I leave a little gap here on purpose so that you know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, this Ebrake is fully released, right? It's not causing you to drag your band and wear it out. These are shaft collars. They're available at Lowe's. No, I'm sorry, not Lowe's. Ace Hardware. All right, Ace is the place. So I have a buddy out there, Paul. He's a real old guy, veteran. He's always really helpful to me in getting anything I need. I don't even have to look for myself. Just go in there and talk to him. It takes me right to whatever I want. These are 5/16 diameter. All right, same diameter as this. I put 2 of them, tighten them up good. Use the correct size Allen so you don't strip them. All right, and once you lock them down, they're not going anywhere. So what I did was I took the original bracket that this comes with, the Ebrake. I took it off, and I got 2 M6 1.0 thread all metal lock nuts. They're the ones with that little tapered edge on the tip, and washers. Reason being, I don't want this little metal piece that I made here jingling around. All that is a piece of this angle that I just cut off, and I drilled 2 holes in it. 2 5/16 holes in that square piece of metal. Excuse the dirty fingernails, but you'll also see that I kind of chamfered the hole on this one a little bit, so that way if this would ever come loose, this piece can't just turn into a lock on if it would twist and lock up your brake rod. You don't want that happening, right? So not only did I drill the holes in it, but then I took a small rasp bit and I actually chamfered the hole on both sides. So it's a little bit bigger, but then you tighten up right here and you make sure it's good where it's not touching it really all the time, so it's not binding it all. And you'll notice that I'm gonna operate the brake right here with my hand, and you'll notice how it works, okay? The shaft collars pull away from that piece of metal, right? You see that? And if your brakes are adjusted properly, okay, your little adjuster right back here, okay, you shouldn't have too much travel before your band is engaged. You want a little bit of travel because you want it to be able to return enough that it's not dragging, all right? And you want to make sure that your band is aligned nicely back here, obviously, right? And your little holders there to prevent it from slipping off, okay? So if you got that release action going and your brake is adjusted properly, working good, then you can set this up pretty easily. Look at all this adjustment we've got. I set it like roughly in the middle of the adjustment, and you could play with this. You can move this forward and back. Couple tips. When I did this, I put the seat, pulled the adjuster unit there, and I put the seat all the way forward. And I pulled the Ebrake handle all the way up without it connected to this at all. So I would make sure that the seat at its furthest forward position doesn't interfere with the Ebrake handle. All right. I also sat on the cart and reached down and made sure that I had clearance between here for my hand, right? So you're not like squeezing your hand in between here or having to go like this to get to the e-brake, okay? Also wanted to make sure it's kind of in line with the frame so it looks good, and also that it doesn't interfere with your leg while you're riding. So most of the time, obviously your knee is gonna be up here somewhere, right? And then down to the pedal with your foot. So this is well out of your way. And as you can see, it works really well. Pull it up and there you go, your brakes applied, okay? So I made that piece, like I said, from Angle. That's M6 1.0. This Ebrake setup is from a 95 Honda Civic. These are 5/16 grade 8 bolts, and I stacked up some washers underneath here just to get the height right so that the two rods are in line with each other. So we have the best mechanical advantage, right? We're not pulling on an upward angle or on a downward angle to bend anything, right? And then mechanically, it's gonna operate its best like that too. See that? Look at that. Nice smooth action. That's the e-brake being operated up and down. And then there's the normal brake being operated. So normal brake operation is just pulling straight through the hole away from it. So the e-brake could never interfere with normal braking operation. All right? So this, I know a lot of people have a problem with this, with these carts not having e-brakes, and I figured, I was thinking, you know, I could make a kit and just sell this stuff. And I thought about it, I said, you know what? I'd rather help some people out, you know? I don't think it would sell enough to make it worthwhile. But anyway, I have the proof. I made it first, so this is my self-patent. Anyhow, I'll make it open source. So if you guys want to copy it or change the design at all, or if anybody's got any suggestions of anything that you think would have improved it, or anything I should do different on any carts in the future, then you know I'd be happy to get that feedback. Hopefully this will help you guys. It's a pretty simple mount setup. I know it involves welding here, obviously, that I welded these tabs on, but you could really do it with bolt up if you wanted to. You could just drill a hole straight through the floor in here and put a spacer in between, right? And get this thing at the right elevation above the frame, right? And or you could just do it with washers even, right? Another thing I should point out is I did use a grinder and cut, instead of just one little drilled hole in each bracket on this thing. I'll show you guys a close-up of it. I actually cut it to be just like a fork, so you can you have angle you could play with. And the reason I did that was I wanted this brake rod to be completely clear of this. I didn't want it banging up against these rivets and stuff here, you know what I mean? So you can see I got just the right clearance, all right? And like I said, 95 Civic is what this came out of. Easily 30 bucks on eBay. Well worth it, right? Another, say, 10, 15 bucks in hardware. Can't go wrong, all right? Oh, also, I'll include the measurements. From this frame right here out to here is 12.5. And from this frame to the first bolt right here is 8.25. All right? And this is not the spider box. This is just a normal Yerf Dog 32 something. 3202 or 3, something like that. You could easily look it up on the website to see if it's the same as yours. All right. So, like and subscribe, leave some comments. Thanks for watching.